Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Beloit police are kept busy with a string of homicides. Community members say it's time to rally together to stop the violence.
Illinois' top firefighter speaks to an issue impacting first responders across the state. Saving lives and putting out fires comes with health risks not all of us fully understand.
And if you have a passion for film, education, and fun, this volunteer opportunity may be for you. Help make the Beloit International Film Festival an in-person reality once again. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. Bloodshed in Beloit kept police officers busy over the last week. Investigators
responded to 3 homicides in 4 days. Police say a Beloit woman was shot and killed Wednesday on Madison Road. Then on Saturday morning, a Janesville woman was stabbed to death on Clary Street near Oakwood Cemetery. Later that night, a 19-year-old man was killed in the Beloit Memorial High School parking lot. Beloit Police Chief Andre Sales says the murder spree is taking a toll on officers, and he's calling on the community to come forward with information regarding the crimes. Rachel Perry spoke with a Beloit community member concerned about the uptick in crime, now looking to make a difference in her city.
Rachel, she tells you this issue is close to home.
Yeah, that's right, Mimi and Eric. She tells me at a young age she was going down the wrong path, but someone stepped in, changing her life for the better. Now she wants to be that person for Beloit teens, and she's hoping others will join her.
They don't have nothing to live for, so they just kill each other.
Weezy Walker is sick of sitting back watching crime happen in her city.
Like, there's no more talking. It got to be all action now. We can't keep saying, we need to do this, no, we're going to do it.
The city of Beloit had 3 homicides in just 4 days. So starting now, Weezy tells me she's creating a program to focus on kids in the city, aiming to prevent gun violence.
To just let the kids be kids, you know? Like, they in the streets, they don't even know how to be kids. So hopefully, like, just learn how to be a kid. You don't have to kill, you don't have to tote guns, you don't have to do none of that.
Well, the idea is still in the works. Another Beloit program is actively trying to help domestic abuse survivors.
This movement that the community is bringing forth, saying something needs to be done. And so we're also definitely feeling that as well.
The family of the 31-year-old killed Wednesday says the man arrested was her boyfriend. Now, Kelsey Hood Christensen wants people to know there is help available.
We're feeling that as a service provider and acknowledging that there are a lot more survivors in our community that we want to reach and help, whatever that looks like for them.
Weezy and Christensen agree. When it comes to violence, awareness is key.
Coming forward and saying that things need to change and having open discussions about what we feel is the best way to move forward.
Let's come together. Let's all work for a peaceful, I'm going to keep saying that, for a peaceful summer. It got to be peaceful, and we can do it.
Weezy wants to see the schools, parents, and police come together and instead of talking, start acting. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Rachel. Rockford jewelry stores are targeted in a string of burglaries early Saturday morning. It all started around 2:30 at Xavier's Jewelers. Multiple entrances were smashed with a rock, but nothing was reported stolen. 20 minutes later, the lobby door of Gruno's Jewelry was smashed, but again, nothing was stolen. 10 minutes after that, jewelry by Christopher was hit. The same style of forced entry was reported and several rings were taken. Investigators have not said if the burglaries are connected. We'll hear from one of the victims coming up tonight at 9 and 10.
A California firefighter is dead after someone attacked him in the line of duty. It happened this morning in Stockton, just outside Sacramento. Police say Captain Max Fortuna and his crew were responding to a dumpster fire near a highway. That's when the first responder was shot and killed. Police arrested a 67-year-old man. They recovered a gun at the scene. The suspect has not been publicly identified. Captain Fortuna was a 21-year veteran of the Stockton Fire Department. Beyond the dangers the front line creates for firefighters, there's another under-recognized threat at play. The International Association of Firefighters says from 2015 through 2020, 75% of names added to the Fallen Firefighter Memorial of Honor wall were members who died from occupational cancer. Illinois State Fire Marshal Matt Perez wants that to change. He says it's important firefighters get their annual physicals and follow-ups, track exposures to carcinogens, decontaminate immediately at the scene, and launder gear after every event.
The old image of the firefighter with the soot all over his face and sweat dripping down, we've got to get rid of that, right? That's romantic for the fire service, but that is also the chemicals that sit on your skin that is causing these cancers.
In 2020, Illinois launched a preliminary exposure reduction training project. About half of the fire departments in the state have completed the training.
Governor J.B. Pritzker is set to unveil his budget proposal later this week, and it includes tax relief for Illinois residents. The governor's office says his budget proposal aims to tackle inflation by providing almost $1 billion in tax cuts. That includes suspending the 1% sales tax on groceries for a year, freezing the fuel tax at 39 cents per gallon, and providing a property tax rebate of up to $300. The governor will outline the full budget in his State of the State address Wednesday. The FDA has now given full approval to Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Tens of millions of people have already gotten the shot after it was given emergency use authorization more than a year ago. The agency says new follow-up data provides the vaccine's effectiveness against COVID-19. Moderna's authorization does include a warning about a rare type of heart inflammation, which can happen after the second dose. The Moderna vaccine is the second COVID-19 vaccine to get full approval. Pfizer's vaccine got full approval last summer. Another major corporation implements a vaccine requirement. T-Mobile is asking all corporate employees to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or face termination. An email from T-Mobile's Chief of Human Resources says they have up until April 2nd to get all doses. That means employees must receive their first dose by February 21st, or they'll go on unpaid leave.
A state-line film festival prepares to kick off its 17th season. Beloit International Film Festival begins next month. Event organizers are thankful to be able to resume mostly in person this year. Venues across Beloit will highlight short and feature films along with documentaries. The 10-day festival calls for a lot of volunteers. Executive Director for the fest, Greg Gerard, says getting involved is a rewarding experience.
You get that feel-good thing out of it because you know that you are contributing to something that is fun and educational and entertaining, and it's because of you.
Volunteers even get 4 free tickets for the festival. If you're interested in getting involved, head to mystateline.com. Today was the first public meeting of Russian and American leaders about concerns over a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ambassadors from both the U.S. and Russia talked about the situation at a UN Security Council meeting. But the group had very different opinions about what's happening in Ukraine. Hannah Brandt is keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
At the UN Security Council meeting, Russia downplayed its military actions and accused the U.S. of misleading the international community. But the U.S. didn't back down. Tensions were high at Monday's UN Security Council meeting.
Russia's military buildup on the border has been paired with extensive new demands and aggressive rhetoric. This is an escalation and a pattern of aggression.
But Russia pointed the finger back at the U.S.
They themselves are whipping up tensions and rhetoric and are provoking escalation.
They say the whole situation is overblown.
No threat of a planned invasion into Ukraine from the lips of any Russian politician or public figure over all of this period has been made.
U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield says that's just not true, pointing out Russia has thousands of troops on the Ukraine border.
This is as clear and consequential a threat to peace and security as anyone can imagine.
State Department spokesman Ned Price says the meeting put a global spotlight on Russia and shows world leaders are united against a possible invasion.
Diplomacy and dialogue remains our preferred course, but there was a resounding call from the Security Council this morning that Russia should avail itself of that course.
And the Biden administration continues to threaten sanctions against Russia if they do invade Ukraine.
You can't just stand by and accept one country trying to invade and take land from another country. And this is also about protecting the sovereignty of a country.
The UN did not vote to take any actions, but today President Biden said, quote, "We are ready no matter what happens." In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
Now, your first-warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Got a lot to talk about over the course of the next couple of days, so let's kind of jump right into that. A little more cloud cover out there this evening as we're pulling in a little more moisture, more warmth, allowing some of those clouds to develop. A live look with the Mercy Skytrack camera now out in Freeport. You see the wind kind of blowing around. Southeasterly winds have picked up just a bit for us this afternoon, at times gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Current temperatures sit in the low 30s from 32 degrees in Freeport, 31 in Rockford, 30 right now in Janesville, and 31 in Rochelle. Our weather watcher Sandy, just north of the Kirkland-Fairdale area, checking in with 31, says it's kind of damp out there as we've got a little bit more moisture coming in. Relative humidity sitting at 70%. And our weather watcher Bob here on the southeast end of Rockford now checking in with 29. Now, I mentioned those southeasterly winds sustained at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. That wind will actually increase here as we go through the night tonight. So we'll likely see our temperatures dip back into the upper 20s after sunset and then hold steady and rise after midnight. Could be starting off tomorrow morning in the mid 30s, and that warm start will help springboard us up close to 40 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. Not everybody will get in on that warmth because there is a cold front that'll be working through midday. You see, as early as tomorrow morning, we've got the cloud cover with the wind tomorrow morning. Don't anticipate any issues with the fog. We had some freezing fog out there early this morning. Might get a quick light sprinkle or two, especially south of Rockford by tomorrow morning. Then we stay fairly dry until we get into the afternoon. Cold front looks to be coming in about 1, 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's where temperatures will start to cool a little bit off to the northwest. We'll see that precipitation begin to blossom, but right now looks to be kind of confined mostly to our southeast. As that moisture interacts with the colder air coming in behind that front, there is going to be an area of snow that then transitions over. Again, most of this looks to be occurring to our southeast. From locations, let's say maybe up to Genoa, down through DeKalb and Sycamore. Once you even get into Paw Paw there, and Ashton and Franklin Grove and Amboy, you might start to see a couple of snow showers towards the middle to late afternoon and then into Tuesday evening. We'll see some light snow begin to overspread then early Wednesday, but this should be fairly light throughout the day on Wednesday, while heavier snow occurs to our south and kind of a little bit further to our south. A break in some of that activity Wednesday night before kind of a second round of some lighter snow begins to move in Wednesday night and then into Thursday. So we've got two kind of systems that we're keeping an eye on. Both of those at this point in time look to really have an impact on areas to the south of us, where across parts of Missouri, central Illinois, just south of Chicago, total 7, 8, 9, 10 inches of snow, very well possible. To the north of that, you're going to get a very sharp cutoff gradient from that snowfall, from just some minor accumulations, maybe a dusting right near the state line, to maybe a couple of inches once you get into southern Lee and DeKalb counties. Of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on that, and I keep that snow chance in there for Tuesday night, Wednesday into Thursday too. Gets a little breezy, guys. We see those temperatures drop back into the teens briefly, but then we warm here as we look into the first weekend once we get into February.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
A couple weeks ago, most of us had no idea who Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles were. Now they're the two guys who hold the keys to the Bears. We got some insights into the team's new coach and general manager today during their first press conference. I was at Hallis Hall for this, and my first impressions, Matt Eberflus has a reputation as a no-nonsense guy, and he came across that way. A defensive guy who was the defensive coordinator with the Colts. He does seem like a guy who commands respect, a guy who's a stickler for paying attention to details, a guy who definitely pushes players. Here's the comment from him this morning that I think gives us the best feel for what he's all about.
We will play at a high tempo, a high effort, attacking physical style built upon speed, quickness, and explosive athletic ability. We will carry ourselves with an attitude of energy, passion, and intensity. We will play with maximum effort on every play. And my next piece of advice for the players, for sure, is get your track shoes on, because we're running.
I like that. The players need to be pushed. They need to be held accountable. I think at times they had a little too easy under Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. This is Eberflus's first head coaching job, but it feels like he's ready for it and not being rushed into it prematurely. He's confident, knows who he is, and the type of team he wants to put on the field. I have no doubt the Bears will remain strong defensively on his watch. Not sure, though, if Eberflus can fix the offense. He'll need to rely heavily on new offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. Now, Poles was more soft-spoken and shorter with his answers than Eberflus was. You can tell he's 15 years younger. He wasn't as revealing with his answers, and he wasn't as detailed in his answers. He didn't come across as strongly as Eberflus did. When Poles was hired, I thought, boy, at 36, he's awfully young to be an NFL general manager. After hearing him today, I still have a feeling that he might be taking this job on 5 to 10 years too soon. In general, I like that both men talked about building a faster, more explosive roster. If there's one thing the Bears teams have lacked over the years, at least on offense, it's explosiveness.
Well, Candace is back now with another look at the weather in just a moment. But first
we got to look at what's coming up on News Nation.
The rise of the Tiger Mom, how parents are fighting back against school mask mandates. And speaking of Tigers, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow is going to the Super Bowl. Is he America's next cultural icon? That's On Balance. Here's Ashley.
Thanks. Tonight on Banfield, new meaning to going postal, why a mail carrier is a new hero in New Hampshire. Plus, your worst flightmare, an ocean of luggage, a sea of despair. What caused all of these jet blues? And how many Americans actually get away with murder? That's tonight on Banfield on News Nation.
That is all coming up on the fastest growing cable news network in America. News Nation is available on any of these cable or satellite stations. You can also head to newsnation.com.
Cloudy skies for us. The first WARN interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Temperatures currently in the low 30s. Now we'll drop just a little bit here this evening and then climb once we head into the morning tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow up close to 40, but there is a cold front that comes through. We'll likely see some rain, kind of higher probability to the southeast, and that'll transition over to some snow again to the southeast as we get into tomorrow night. Some lighter snow showers Wednesday, same thing for Thursday. Still keeping an eye on that system. Right now, higher accumulation staying well to the south. Temperatures in the 20s to round out the weekend.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.